What's up, internet? My name's Ori. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And if you like this video, hit that like button. We're going to be breaking down everything that happened on Monday, day 13 inside the Big Brother house. A lot kind of happened, and specifically for two house guests in particular, I think they have made a crucial error, but we'll get into all of that in just a bit. Let's first start off with just what was happening throughout the day before and after the veto ceremony. Kai, the HOH, was having a lot of meetings with different house guests and different teams in particular. He kind of wanted to get as much information as possible without giving up too much information, kind of see where their heads are at, see where they wanted to go with different things. We'll break down more of what each team's thinking once we go to the alliance chart. But I think Kai did a really good job this week with his HOH of kind of maximizing his time with each house guest and with each team, trying to make that connection so that he is saving himself for the upcoming weeks, and also trying to figure out what he needs to do in the upcoming weeks of who he should align with, who he should target, and what his next move should be in the house, along with his allies. Now, we got to the veto ceremony, and it pretty much went how we thought it was going to go. We did not expect Derek X, the veto winner, to use his power of veto on Britini or Frenchie, and he did not. He left the nominations the same, and again, this was just not only the move that Kai wanted, but it's also a good move for DX. There's no reason for him to use it on any of them and then potentially put somebody else on the block and put blood on Kai's hands, on Derek X's hands, or anything like that. So it was pretty much just let it be how it was. Frenchie did try and make a push to get Britini pulled off and maybe put a guy up next to him. I think he thought that was his best shot of actually staying in the house if there was some kind of big target he could point to and campaign against, because he didn't want to campaign against Britini. Here's the thing though with Frenchie, he's done for. He's going to be evicted on Thursday. There's no saving him at this point. And he even realizes that now. For a little bit, he was going to quit the game, but I think he's gotten that through his head. That's just a terrible idea. I think Derek F really helped push that as well. Of like, Frenchie, don't do that. You would hate yourself if you did that. And now he's gotten to the point where he's just talking to the cameras, trying to say things like, oh, I'm going to be retweeting charities and stuff. He's literally collecting some items. He's like, if anybody wants to donate anything to, the charity drive, I think he's going to try and sell it on eBay or something, or donate it to different reality show based charities, some like children's charities as well. And look, if he goes and does that, great, right? He's doing something positive in the world and positive from his experience on Big Brother. But if that's all he went on the show to do, was to get some clout and to get exposure, and then he's going to say like, oh, look, I gave it to charity, I don't know how I feel about all that. I just really don't. He played way too hard. That's obvious. It rubs me the wrong way a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm glad to see that he's attempting to make the world a better place, and that's positive, and I love it. But at the same time, it's like, is that all you really came on the show to do, was to kind of build a following? I don't know. We're gonna have to see. Now, one thing I really want to talk about is two house guests in particular, who yesterday I kind of talked about not being in a showmance, but I think at this point it doesn't matter if they are or are not officially a showmance. Stuff like this is going to make people think they are. So this is Christian and Alyssa. This was last night. They're sleeping. They're still, if you go and turn on the feeds as I'm recording this, they're still sleeping in the same bed. They've been cuddling a lot. They've been sleeping in the same bed. And again, it doesn't matter if they're officially a showmance. They haven't kissed. They haven't done anything like that. Perception is reality. This is all it takes, is for somebody to go, oh yeah, they've been sleeping in the same bed every night. They're cuddling up. That's all it takes for them to go, okay, we need to get rid of these people. And it's already kind of started. Tiffany and Claire have said, like, no, we do not trust Christian. We do not trust Alyssa. That is pretty much done for. There is no trust there, and they realize that they have to go after them. Whether it's earlier or later, I'm not 100% sure yet, because I think there are still some bigger targets out there for them to go after. They 100% know, we got to watch these two. We got to watch these two because they are tight. At the very least, they're in this cuddlemance that's going on. Whether it develops fully into the showmance and a relationship, I don't know. But just game-wise, this is all it takes for you to be like, done for. They're not winning this game. They're going to get targeted. They're going to have to win lots and lots of competitions to stay in this game. And they've really done a number for themselves here on trying to move forward and trying to stay in this game. I do want to also shout out again Tiffany. She is playing amazing. She has so many connections around the house. She is still just hilarious. She had these red suspenders, or not suspenders, overalls that she got from Frenchie. She's like, I like these, I'm keeping these. And again, kind of going back to his like charity thing, he's like, you can keep them, you just got to donate to my charity. She's like, all right, fine, I'll donate some panties. I love Tiffany. She is probably my favorite house guest right now at this moment. And she's also playing a great game. Her, Claire, she also has a really good bond with Azah. But I think the connection with Claire is a little bit stronger just because they are also on the same team. She does have the connection with Azah with the cookout. So I don't know which one is actually stronger. I kind of lean towards the Claire one, though. For some reason, I feel like she talks more game with Claire than she does with Azah. But I'm not 100% sure just yet. Still wait to see. Going to take some weeks of development, but she is 100% going after Christian and Alyssa at some point. Again, whether it's she wins the next HOH or she convinces the next HOH to take a shot, I do feel like that is going to be her goal at some point, is to get rid of that showmance. Again, perception is reality. The funny thing is, though, Christian and Alyssa, they want to go after Brett mostly, and also Whitney. They don't trust them too. So those are who they would like to go after. So it's kind of funny where they fully kind of trust the whole Tiffany, Claire, Kai, Sarah Beth, the Kings and Queens alliance, right? They kind of trust in that. But Tiffany and Claire and all them do not trust them anymore. They realize that this is becoming too close of a relationship and they got to get rid of it. So that is definitely a thing. But we can move on to kind of our status chart and our alliance chart here and kind of break down some of it a little bit more on where I see some of the house fall and what things could develop further. In fact, here, let's go to the full screen. So we got a little bit bigger of a picture here of what's going on inside the house. So as you can see, a lot of it actually is breaking down between the teams. It's kind of interesting to see the team dynamic become more pronounced as we go a little bit further, because people are starting to realize that you can't go after people that are on your own team if you win HOH, right? Like that is a fundamental point of the captaincy in the teams, is if you win HOH, your entire team is safe, right? So one of the things that DX and Kai were talking about is like, DX can't win HOH. He's at this point, he's like, it would be bad for my game to win HOH because who am I going to put up at that point? He's not going to put up any of the kings or the queens because he kind of is working with them. I haven't added him into that alliance, but for the most part, he's working with most of the people in that alliance. So he's not going to put any of them up. Possibly a Christian and Alyssa, but again, I don't think they're going to take that shot just yet. There's some other targets in the house that they would like to get rid of. So if he won HOH, it would really screw up a lot of things for a lot of people in the house on who they could potentially nominate. So kind of one of the talks where it was like, maybe they throw it to the Kings, maybe they give it to, Claire or Tiffany. Who knows how that HOH is going to end up going this week, but probably worst case scenario for a lot of the house is if Whitney or Brent win HOH. That would be really bad for a lot of them. Other than that, the slaughterhouse is really, it's almost a non-factor now at this point. Like, it's there, but it's not there. they're going after Brent, hardcore. Christian and Alyssa. I feel like X and Kai and Derek F, they really, aren't big fans of Christian and Alyssa, but also Brent and Whitney. DF definitely doesn't like DX, so that's a thing that's going on as well. The cookout staying strong as far as I can tell. Everything is pretty good there. I mentioned earlier how Tiffany and Azah have a really tight relationship there. Whether it's actually a final two, not 100% sure. I mean, there's a lot of pinky swears that have been going on. But again, those are just things that happen inside the house over time. The Kingslayers, still pretty solid as far as I could tell too. Britini doesn't get included into a lot of the game talk. I feel like it's more of the other three of Tiffany, Azah, and Claire. They're the tighter group, as well as the trio. That's still a pretty solid alliance as well. I feel like all the girls really do have a good relationship. None of them are really targeting each other. But what's funny is Brett and Whitney, if they win, they want to go after a girl, right? That's one of the things in their meeting with Kai was that the aces, if they won HOH, they'd be going after a girl in the house, which obviously wouldn't include Whitney and wouldn't include Hannah. So that would be somebody like a Claire, a Tiffany, a Sarah Beth, Azah. Whether that's going to happen or not, we're going to have to wait and see for Thursday on the HOH deal. The Kings and Queens Alliance, I was talking about that, how the teams are kind of starting to work together and realizing, like, look, we got to kind of go after the other teams. By saying that, though, it's really more of the aces. They kind of want to go after people on the aces. So we'll see how that develops as well. And Tiffany also does still not trust Christian and Alyssa, who are in that Kings and Queens Alliance. So we'll see. The final two deals that I have over there as well, Kai and Sarah Beth is getting tighter and tighter every day. They've become really good friends. I don't think it's romantic in any way. I think they just really are tight friends. They talked about, wanting to make sure they could both get the jewelry house and, how they want to stay friends after all of this as well. So I don't think it's necessarily a romantic thing. There was some like joking between Kai and Xavier about how like they'd make a good, couple or something like that. And Kai just said, yeah, I love Sarah Beth a lot, right? Like, I think it's more of a brotherly, sisterly thing, a friendship there. But who knows? Time will tell with that as well. Obviously, Christian and Alyssa, we were talking about how they were really tight, and now they're getting tighter and tighter. Whether it's actually just, hey, they're looking for, just a get rid of the loneliness. Some people were suggesting that maybe Alyssa is playing Christian. I think it was Tiffany and Hannah who were talking about that, about maybe she's just kind of bored and playing with Christian a little bit. But again, whether it doesn't matter if they're actually in a Showmance or not. When they're sleeping in the same bed, cuddling like that, people are going to notice, and perception is reality to everybody else in the house. They are a Showmance, and that's what matters there. Speaking of Showmances, there is kind of also another little like triangle thing going on with Hannah, DX, and Brent, where Brent is really fascinated with Hannah. Hannah, I don't think, has any feelings towards Brent. And then DX and Hannah have like a little flirt man's kind of thing going on, and Brent gets jealous. I don't know. That's a thing as well. But yeah, that really kind of breaks down a lot of what's going on inside the house this past week. And on yesterday, we'll see with tomorrow's episode how the whole veto ceremony and discussion really went down. And then Thursday, we will have the live eviction where either Frenchie or Britini, more than likely Frenchie, will be going home. Tell me what you guys think down below. What do you think of this new budding Showmance? Do you think it's going to ruin Christian and Alyssa's deal inside the house? Who would you like to see win HOH on Thursday? And anything else that you want to discuss in those comments down below. Once again, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video. Hit that like button if you enjoyed. Remember to always expect the unexpected, and I will see you next time.